Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is The Rant. Boom. And today on The Rant, number 51, mistakes make you better. Hello, welcome to the show. My name is Jade, and this is The Rant on the Jade Starr Music channel. How you all going out there? Hope you're doing well. There's my name. Don't wear it out. We're back. We're back live. It's all happening. Yes, indeed. I hope everybody has had a good Sunday in the rest of the world for most people. Monday morning here in Australia, and I've been up all night because the wrestling was on live in London, and I stayed up to watch the wrestling from 1 a.m. till 7 a.m. and it wasn't worth my time, so I'm very tired. But, you know, it is what it is. You can't get angry about these things, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Mistakes, making mistakes, and how you can rectify them, and how they can make it better for you, and how your reactions matter, and backing up your computer and things like that. But we're going to start off and have a mini rant first because I want to clarify a few things. All right. Hello, Ed B. Metal. G'day. We've got Hugh Caldwell in the house, Chris Lane Sr., what's happening? Joe Glenn, g'day. Ali, hello. Live to Fly, David, hello to you. Damn. Kim Hudden Hudson's throwing blankets of love around. Me and the husband are watching TV. Happy weekend. Boom. Said Hugh. Barry Glenn, g'day. Who else is here in the chat? Jenny Jolivet. Having some spotty connection stuff. We love that, don't we? We love the internet. Boom, diddly boom, boom, boom. All right, let's get into it, shall we? So let's talk about copyright first, just for a little bit, just to kick off things. And then we'll talk about kind of what happened last week and then get into the main rant. So yesterday I did an opening hour. Now, from time to time, I do an opening hour where I like to select an artist and I do a collection of songs by that artist. Knowing full well, because like I'm not a dumb right, that this show could get clapped because it basically, when you're playing an artist in a row, you're playing all their songs from a bunch of their albums, and depending on the record label that this artist is on, you can get clapped for it and get blocked worldwide. But you know, the word is around, find out. And that's what I like to do, because ultimately when you do some of these live streams and you're singing, you're still making money from things like super chats and stuff like that, and you get to keep that. So even if the show gets clapped and it gets blocked and nobody can see it afterwards, it doesn't really matter. Now, people can yell at the clouds and get all upset, like I see heaps of people doing this on YouTube, crying about YouTube being, they're censoring my speech and I can't say anything. Harden the fuck up, honestly. Stop being a bitch, really. Copyright laws are there for a reason. They're there to protect artists. Now, if you had an album that was huge and people were buying it by the millions, I'm sure you'd want it protected as well. But we're small fry as independent artists, so it doesn't really matter to us, so we're pretty cool with not putting YouTube Content ID on. The thing is, we get all angry at YouTube for some reason when this stuff happens, and it's not actually YouTube that are doing it. It's copyright law. And above that, above the copyright law, which is meant to protect artists and creators, it's actually about the record labels that are scumbags, right? Because let's take what I did yesterday. So it was a Doors show, and I had a good feeling it was going to get clapped and blocked, so it's cool. Because I'll just remove it afterwards. And if you were there, and you got to experience it in all its glory, and you just can't see the replay. But I still get paid for that particular performance. What is sad is the members of the Doors, I reckon, would be pretty pissed off to know that somebody likes their music so much that they would like to get up and tribute a show to them, knowing full well, me, being that person singing their songs, is very is fully aware that all the money from that will go to the Doors. And I'm more than happy about that. But the record labels, in their infinite wisdom, have decided to block that entire show, meaning Nobody gets any money except me for the live show, right? So I've, and I'm not bitching because I understand how it works. That's the game, man, that you play. And if you get all angry about it and throw a tantrum and get on YouTube or on Facebook and YouTube are out to get everybody in their center, you're an idiot. Like, grow up, right? What are you, 5 years old? So that happened, and I was just like, cool. Well, that's sad because, the Doors miss out on 15 cents. So there's that. So I needed to get that off my chest. And the good thing is about that performance was you can get away with doing stuff like this, right? You can get away with doing a few songs. Like if I did a mix of songs like, say a Metallica song and a Nirvana song and a Doors song and mix them all up together, it's normally not going to happen. But when you do like a full collection, like, I did a Rocky Horror thing and I did the whole Rocky Horror show from start to finish, Fox looked at that and went, you're just like replicating the entire movie, so we're going to clap you for that. And they blocked that whole video. The Doors, Warner Brothers, look, we all know Warner Brothers are the worst at this stuff. The Faith No More show I did, I kind of got away with it. There was another one that I did where I attributed a whole show, and that got completely clapped, yeah? So I know it happens, but you take the risk and you have a bit of fun, and you shouldn't take things too seriously at the end of the day. Plus, what I do like is that when I looked at the copyright claims, it came back saying that these were original performances. So I must have sung it pretty good. They actually thought I was Jim Morrison. Hey, pretty damn good. So you kind of get punished singing covers if you're a good singer. Now, if you're a pretty piss poor singer, you're probably going to get away with it because it's going to say stuff like, yeah, this is a cover. Definitely doesn't sound like the real singer. So there's that, But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because, and you shouldn't be afraid to do stuff like that, especially if you're monetized, it just gets blocked. It's not a mark on your channel. It's nothing like that. You can just hide it, put it away. Nobody's going to get to see it again. And you actually get to keep the super chats that people send you for it. So it's like a gig that was a special event that nobody's going to see unless you were there. It's a very special occasion. Ultimately, though, if I really wanted to, I can go and upload it on another platform and then link it to my website, which I did with my Rocky Horror Show. So there's that. Counting Crows one got through. Mr. Bungle got through. Faith No More got through. I forget which one. There was another one that didn't, but it does happen. It's done by the record. It is done by it's the record companies. Like I'm telling you, man, we know as artists, right? So just this will be the last thing I'll talk about this. We're only 10 minutes in, As artists, when I do community covers, right, I think I love to sing covers from people in our community. And I know when I have Leela sing one of my songs, you kind of go, that's pretty cool, man. Someone's singing my song. And I don't care how famous you are, you're Counting Crows, you're Taylor Swift, whoever, man. If somebody covers your song, no matter how big you are, small you are, it feels good. So for record labels to come and do that, I'm sure they would be going, you're kind of stifling our fans. Plus, I really wanted that 15 cents to put to my massive hoard of money, The thing is, you can't get upset about it, right? And then go on YouTube and sit there and yell and scream and carry on because you just look like a whiny crybaby. You know what I mean? So I never been more honoured when you covered your song. Oh, God. You need to get out more, Chris. No, but I take that, I jest. I take that as a compliment. I love singing you guys' songs. And I like singing covers. I like the Doors, man. I think they're awesome. I love singing that stuff. But anyway. So that's not what we're talking about today, are we? We're going to be talking about some stuff. So let me introduce you to what went down last week, because some of you know a little bit, you've maybe heard what happened, but we're going to tell you the whole story and how reactions are important, right? Because that's what more today is about, the way you react to things. Because, not only is it good for yourself to react in certain ways, but it's good for those around you, yeah? Because if you start reacting a certain way in front of people, then they're going to start to think, I don't know, you're a bit of a dick. Could you imagine, something goes wrong and then you jump on YouTube and you just start calling people out and calling them fuckheads and this and that? Or you may have seen it before in this community. You kind of then get this taste in your mouth going, I don't know if I want to hang around there. That's weird. That's pretty angry. So, Rhodey's Jam Cave, g'day to you. And if you're lurking, I see there's 18 of you hanging out. Jenny's connection is so bad. Look at this. She's written it 18 times. Hello, Jade and everybody. Going to have some spotty connection. Hello, Jade. Hello, Jade. We can see, Jenny, you've got some spotty connection. Your post has come through 35 times. You've seen some of those? All right, well, let's get into today. So what happened last week? So last week I was due to do a show here on the channel, and that was wrapping up the Adam Burst cover that I've been working on. It was episode 5. Here it is right here, re-recording Adam Burst's song. And I got up in the morning, walked out of my bedroom, across the hall into this studio here, which is all ready for me to go and live stream each morning. And what do you know was waiting for me on my computer screen? This little thing. What's that? I was like, that's an interesting little thing. What's that? Startup repair. Now, I've owned this computer here for 4 years, and this thing has been on every day. I never turn it off, hardly ever turn it off, only to do an update or something like that. And it runs like a beast. It's just a beautiful computer. And I walk in, I see this, and I'm like, I get closer. Startup repair couldn't repair your PC. Press advanced options, and I'm like, what is this? Windows System 32 log files, srttrail.text. Well, what the bloody hell is an srttrail.text? Well, srttrail.text. srttrail.text is a fantastic little thing that Windows provides. And guess what? It's an error code for we fucked up. Microsoft, we fucked up, and we're punishing you for this. That's essentially what it is. So basically, the main reason you get this error is at some stage during a Windows update, the Windows update failed. And now every time you've tried to redo that update, it tries to do it, and then it fails and rolls it back. And so every time I've shut off my PC for the last couple of months, I've seen this updating. I'm like, oh, cool, it's going to work this time. Oh, no, it's rolling it back. And I tried to find some solutions for it and couldn't find any that worked anyway. So again, Windows Update, it does some dumb things. And so I just thought, you know what, I just won't turn off the computer until I find a solution to this thing. Well, unfortunately, every time it had tried to do an update and then rolled it back, it was creating bad sectors on my SSD. And those bad sectors built up and up and up until eventually it just went, I'm going to shit myself, see you later. And the hard drive was dead. So once I got to this screen here and tried to go to advanced options, well, unfortunately, every one of those advanced options that it gave me to try out didn't work because the hard drive was on the verge of failing. It still had data on there and it was still accessible for now. But when, if you're well aware of how Windows works, there's a check disk R and you can repair stuff. So check disk repair and all this kind of stuff. And when I tried to do a repair out of so many sectors on the hard drive, nearly every single sector was corrupt. And it had to try and replace every sector, and there wasn't enough memory within the hard drive to replace all the fucked sectors, which meant the hard drive died. And it killed itself right then and there. Now I tell you all of this because at first I was like, shit, I don't have a backup. Amazingly, I did. I did actually have a backup because I unwittingly turned on a thing called OneDrive and had that set up to back up a whole bunch of files. So I ended up getting a lot of stuff back. Still, I lost a lot of stuff. The main thing I lost was this show, OBS, because I was on a very, very old version of OBS, which was OBS 27. And the backup facilities on the old OBS are a little bit dicey. It's not like the new version 30. Things have improved a lot. And the problem, why I had never updated to iOS to 30, was when 28 and 29 came out, they were buggy as hell and a lot of people had problems, and I can't afford to update and not do my show and have problems. So a lot of us, and I'm sure people in the audience here know that you will normally stay on something that is very stable instead of updating, even though companies, for some reason tell you you really should update every time. And whenever there's a problem, companies tell you, are you on the latest version? It's like, well, it's not that. Something don't try and send me to the latest version, because that offers up a whole new mess of other problems, doesn't it? So many of us like to stay on older versions, yeah? So don't rant about apps. They're not worth it. I'm not ranting about apps. Why would I rant about apps? I don't care about apps. This show's not called How to App on iOS. This is The Rant. And we're ranting about feelings and stuff and love. Exciting and new. So with this problem I faced, the next thing to do was, how do I react to this? And I'll tell you what, I've talked about this on the rant before, and I've talked about this openly about my anger issues during my entire life, how when I was a lot younger and all the way probably up until my 30s, I used to be a very angry person and I would lose my shit, yeah? I would, kick things around, throw off, be very, very angry and abuse myself and say some really stupid things and stuff, yeah? I'd really be a pissy person, yeah? So, but over time, I've been able to rein in a lot of that anger. And I know a lot of people do have anger issues and lose it over stuff or get upset and cry, because, hey, we live in a world where people tell you shit like facts over feelings, control your feelings. And I just love it, We can't control our feelings. It's the one thing we don't understand as a species, the way our brain fully works and the way we react to things and make foolish decisions and foolish choices or good choices and all that kind of stuff. But so me, who used to be a very angry person, if this had have happened, say, about 10 years ago, I would have absolutely lost my ever-loving mind and probably been smashing shit up, throwing stuff around, going crazy over this problem on my computer because, hey, this is what I do for a living and now I can't do it. But surprisingly enough, that's not what happened. I remained really, really calm and just tried to find a solution. And then when it didn't happen, went, oh, well, what do we do next? I guess I'm going to have to get a new hard drive. I guess I'm going to have to try and set everything up. I guess I'm going to have a few days off. Oh, well, let's get it sorted. And I was fucking surprised that my brain did that. Or was I? Or is it like the fact that, I've trained myself to get to this position, right? Because, anger, as I said, was a huge part of my life. Hi, Chad Freeman. And Ron, I saw Ron come in here as well. G'day, g'day, g'day. So now this is heading to stuff about mistakes, right? Now I say it on the show all the time. I say it at the end of the show, mistakes make you better. Now I'm not saying that making lots of mistakes, and there's Hugh. Did I say hi to you, Hugh? I think I did. Now I'm not saying that making mistakes fixes everything, right? It clearly doesn't. What I mean by mistakes make you better is because I had somebody question on me and said, it's a stupid statement. And it's like, okay, but you're that guy that I talked about on the rant a few weeks ago who has to leave an asshole comment on every single thing he sees on Facebook. So that's a whole nother episode, isn't it? But mistakes make you better if you are able to identify them. That's the thing. Identify them and understand why you made them and realize not to make them again. See the pattern, understand it. Understand when it's happening. For me, anger was that thing. See when it's coming, and go, why? Why get angry about this? What a waste of energy. What can we do to fix it? All right, so that's it. And exactly what it is, by learning from them, by paying attention from them. And it comes all about by acknowledging them, understanding them, putting them out in the open, talking about them, acknowledging I made this mistake, talking about it to people, verbalizing it, putting it out there in the open, hearing it back. Now, from my experience as a psychologist, hey, would you trust me? That's why I don't practice. So, think about this. People, I hear this all the time, right? In psychology and stuff. People go, no, I'm not going to a shrink. They just take your money and never give you any solutions. That's not what they do. They're not there to give you solutions. Well, their whole purpose is to sit there and probe you with open-ended questions so you deliver the things that are wrong, that's going on in your mind, until the point that you actually hear them and actually hear them coming out of your mouth, all right? Because that's the thing. We know we're doing them. We know these things that we're doing, but and the psychologist or psychiatrist, whichever one you're going to, their role is to listen to what you say and then feed it back to you in a different way, maybe that you'll understand. So they're just mirroring what you say until you get it. No shrink is going to give you a final answer and go, well, you're fixed now, John, you can leave. And that's why people fall into the hole with therapy, because they're thinking, well, I'll just keep paying this motherfucker money. He's just sitting there taking my money and not fixing me. And the thing is, you've just got to listen to yourself. And that's what their role is, to just spit back what you're spitting out in a different way that you understand it, right? So it's the same thing as like mistakes, verbalizing it and going, what am I doing? Why do I head down this path? Why do I get to this? Why am I so angry all the time? And identifying it. And eventually that's learning from your mistakes. Identifying, oh, shit, I'm going down this path again. Don't do that again. And in relation to backing up a computer, of course, that's a monumental fucking mistake, isn't it? Where you go, damn, I'm definitely going to be back up this time. I know when I go get the new hard drive, this time I'm going to have a spare SSD connected all the time so I can do a backup once a week. Because mistakes make you better. And that's not going to happen to me again. Now, ironically, when it comes to backing up, everything else I use technology-wise, I back up relentlessly. Right? If you have a look at my iPad setup here, you probably can't see it properly, but behind here, these are all hard drives. Another one here. 1, 2, 3. There's an SSD in here. This is all back. My iPad is constantly backed up. Plus, I have an iCloud account. So there's no way I can lose anything off this goddamn iPad. My Mac that's sitting over here has a little hard drive component down underneath the table that's constantly backing up every day, right? Hey, Audible, how many cables connect you to your iPad to make music? 0. Exactly. So, yeah, I got my Audible dig in for the day. Yeah, everybody give Audible some shit. He loves it. But the one thing I wasn't backing up, or so I thought, was my Windows computer, which is weird because I use this every single day to stream. But again, when I went to the computer shop, and I love this, I'll tell you the story about the computer shop, shall I? So I packed everything up. So this is my computer over here. If you haven't seen it, I'll go over here. This is the laptop. This is an MSI. It's a beast. It is a gaming laptop. It's an i7. It's just an utter beast. Yeah, I can't tell you how brutal, how fast, blistering fast this thing is. I've had it for 4 years, and when I got it, it was top of the line. It's still super fast. It's just been a workhorse. When I packed it up, I was like, hey, this thing looks really new. It looks super new, and I've actually looked after it pretty well. I boxed it up. I took it to the original place that I bought it from, even though I could have fixed it myself and just bought a hard drive and done it all myself. That was no problem. But I didn't really want to deal with that, yeah? Didn't want to deal with it. I wanted to take it in somewhere, offload it to them, and let them fix it. And I could go out and film an episode of Walk With Me, which I did. I went down to the river and filmed some stuff and had a chat with you guys, and that'll be up this week. So you'll get to see the whole journey of me taking the computer to get fixed and all this kind of stuff. Hey, Dana, and hello, Audible. I'll say hello to you even though you don't deserve it. And Sean Chandler, g'day. What's happening? So I took the computer in, right? And the guy says, yeah, that'll be $95 up front, and then you can pay the rest. It'll be it'll end up $160 just for labor, and then we'll choose a hard drive, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, just put the hard drive in. And he goes, no, I think we'll be able to retrieve the data. And I was like, no, you won't. And he was like, no, we got some special tools here. And I was like, sure. Anyway, of course, he couldn't get the data off. I love it when technicians think that you know nothing about computers, and they kind of like, oh, but we've got fancy pants thing over here. Sure you do. But awesome stuff, because I knew that. I'd already resigned myself to it. And he was like saying to me, you're taking it very well. I'm like, well, what are you going to do, man? Like, what's the point of kicking the dog? What's the point of getting so upset about it, really? I've lived a lifetime of doing that, of getting upset over stupid things, nothing, stuff that doesn't really matter, and then looking back and going, oh, man, what a waste of energy, really. What a foolish thing to do to get so upset about it. Anyway, I left it with him. I went, filmed, and he called me up about an hour later and said, oh, sorry, I couldn't save your stuff. I was like, I knew that. And he put it together and sorted it out, and I went and picked it up. And when I picked it up, he says to me, can I just say, I've been working in this computer shop a long time, and I've never seen a computer so well looked after for 4 years. That was the cleanest computer inside I've ever seen. I'm like, well, you know, I haven't had a girlfriend for a long time. It was 7 years until I met my current girlfriend. 7 long years. So that computer was everything to me. You know what I'm saying? Hey, how you doing? No, but I did look after it a lot. So when it broke down, I was very disappointed. Anyway, it's all fixed, and then coming home, it took a couple of days to set it all up and get it back to where we are now. Yeah. So the main thing I had to do was set up OBS and get all of this show running, because this show is a lot of stuff. And, you know, so as you can see over here, side cam, we got like the Stream Deck, which controls all the scenes. And if you look up here, the show's running in this this little box here. This is my teleprompter, which has the camera inside it. And all this stuff, like you can see up in the TV around, this is all the stuff around OBS, which is all controlled by that. You know, so there's a lot of moving parts for the show, and all of it was gone. The very lucky thing was, I make all of my assets on the iPad. So everything was still in my iPad. I was able to just find all the assets. Like if I go here into my documents app, you can see here, these are where all my emojis are of people, of me, like, you know, all this kind of stuff that I just draw on. These are where all this stuff is, yeah? And I just have it, look, I've got Michael's songs emojis. You know, I've got emojis for everyone. All of you are in here. I've got probably Chris Lane Sr. And look, there's Scars and Shadows. There's her emoji. Everyone's in here. I'm an utter creep. I've got all your photos. I'm watching all of you. There's Viv Sparrow. And, you know, and there's Brad. Oh, no, that's Hobo. That's a hobo. That's just a man who's living on the street. But, yeah, so all this stuff is all saved in, like, my Documents app. So a lot of the assets were all in here. So it actually turned out to be not too hard to get all of this stuff transferred back over to the computer. Now, this time, it's all ready to go because, yeah, I now have everything all on a specific drive, and OBS I can back it up separately on a separate drive each day, and it's not going to happen again because mistakes make you better. Yeah, they sure do. We are at our halfway point of the show, and we're going to run an ad because that's how we pay the bills. Yeah, so let's do that. You may or may not get served an ad. We do this at the middle of every show. just so everyone gets an ad at the same time. You don't get ads all at different times of the show. Boom, the ad has been run. If you're a premium subscriber, you won't get an ad. If you're not, you may or may not get one. The ad's been run and it's all good. Let me tell you what's happening on this week, because I've got a lot of shows to catch up on, because, see, that more than anything, more than the computer blowing out, what I was really angry about, what I was really pissed off about, was I had a really cool week of stuff to show you, shows to do, that I was really excited about. And now I've had to put them back. And the other thing that I was upset about, because, listen, I'm a Virgo and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Who would have thought? And I don't like disappointing people. I don't like saying I'm going to do something, then I don't. I hate it. And So I felt bad for the developers that I had shows ready to go for and all that kind of stuff. So that happens, yeah? So they've been pushed back, these shows, but that's all good. So let me tell you what's coming up. Now, this was the main thing I was upset about. So a little app that I use every day had been updated, and and I happened to be on an NDA for this app for a little while, and I was really excited about showing it to everybody when it dropped. And that NDA dropped, and I was ready to do that show and couldn't do it. So we are doing it tomorrow, and that is LumaFusion 5.0 is finally out, and I've been so chomping at the bit to tell everybody about this, the new features in LumaFusion. It's really cool. If you don't know what LumaFusion is, it is a NDA, so non-disclosure. So you can't NDA. Yes, indeed. So LumaFusion 5 is out. It's an in-app purchase. So there are some free updates with the update. So this works for your Mac and iOS devices. There's some free updates, but there is an in-app purchase. And boy, oh boy, the in-app purchase is so worth your time. It is so good, such good functionality. Speed ramping and some new keyframing, advanced keyframing and stuff. We're going to do a live demo of this tomorrow at this time on the live stream. So I was really upset I couldn't do this show. I was so pumped to do this show. So there's that, right? What else is happening this week? The day after, yes, I'm having this guy on, Russ8889. He's coming on with me, and we're both going to say thank you, because the original show was just to have Russ on for him to say thank you, but I need to say thank you as well too, because when my computer went down, some people reached out and were like, hey, can we help you and send you some PayPals to help you get your SSD drive? And that was not expected. So again, me and Russ are going to come on and do this show, and thank you guys for that, because Russ has his new iPad. If you don't know, we put out for Russ to get a new iPad, and we have that. He's got that now and all that jazz. So that's happening this week. Also, finally, we will finish Adam Bursa's song. Yay. Yay. So we'll finish this. Plus, there's a whole lot of app tutorials that will be pre-records. There'll be a LumaFusion one drop today. So I'm doing a pre-record LumaFusion and a live stream for LumaFusion as well. For those who just want to watch the short version, they can do that. And for those who want to come along and watch an hour of me just tinkering around with it, you get that as well. So something for everybody. Plus, gospel organ. So if you want to come and see me play with my organ, as always, we'll be doing that this week as well. Plus, Pete Johns will be joining me this week, because guess what, folks? Songtember is here, and it's happening. Songtember is here. It kicks off this coming Saturday. I know that won't be the 1st of September for you guys, but that will be for us here in Australia. And we are going to be kicking it off on Pete Johns' channel. And so if you don't know what Songtember is, it is record a song in a month and release it. You don't have to release it to streaming services. You can just release it on Bandcamp or on YouTube, or, you know, just so you can release it however you want. But the idea is, in 4 weeks, record and release a song, and we all get involved in it. You'll see my process during the month, and we try and invite as many people to get involved and do it. And then at the end of the month, Pete Johns will play everybody's song on Your Music Live. So that's kicking off, and I'm going to have Pete on on Thursday this week for the interview. Yeah, he'll come on here and we will talk about preparing for Songtember, because you should prepare. And that's kind of what we're talking about today, about backing up and clearing some space and making sure you've got some room to make music. Because you know what another thing is that does suck when you're trying to make music is running out of space, and then your creative flow gets disrupted and you get pissed off, and then you go back to do more and you've lost the vibe. Yeah. I love doing those zoom ins. They're so much fun. So it's a good idea to set up. And so that is a great chance to take a look at this week. Think about backing things up. Think about the space on your devices that you use to make music. Now, I'm a big cloud yelling old person when it comes to Macs, because I don't understand why every time I turn on my Mac, and the day before I had 20 gig free and I haven't had it on for a whole day, but when I turn it on today, I've only got 1 gig free. What happened overnight when the computer was off? I will never, ever, ever understand the way Mac's memory works. It's shit and weird. So there's that. But it is a good thing to go ahead and get yourself prepared for Songtember. And that's part of this rant today. Get yourself prepared, clear some space, make sure you have some room for what the song you're going to make, the art, the video you're going to make, because there's nothing worse than getting into that creative space and you're doing well, you're singing some vocals, you're playing some guitar, and then all of a sudden I've run out of space. And it just breaks up the momentum. And that can lead you to emotions, yeah, and reacting and not reacting the way you want to, and being pissed off or being upset, and then you walk away discouraged, and then you don't come back to it. And then it gets to the end of the month and everybody's got their song done, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to do a song this month. It didn't turn out. Things like that. Because be prepared. Think ahead and try and get it worked out so you don't have to, so you can minimize those feelings, because no matter how many weirdos, I'll just call them weirdos, like Jade Vance, people like that will tell you that, you know, feelings, you shouldn't let your feelings dictate things. Good luck with that. Honestly, good luck with burying your feelings and just being a robot. Because we've all heard how robot music comes out. Just listen to people who make music on Suno. It's shit. Yes, indeed. And look at this. I love this. So, yeah, I was talking to Ron and Jenny, and it looks like they've bought their first iPad Pro. So we went through some options, and we had a chat the other night, and I pointed them in the right direction. I think they got an iPad Pro M1, and yeah, with a terabyte, it's a 16 gig of RAM. Oh, they're going to be making some great music. True story, says Chris. I just moved about 300 gigs onto one of my Max drives to free up space. Lazy about cleaning to my... You know what? That's the folder I lost, Chris. That's the one. It was the download folder. That's the one that had all my stupid... It's a rookie mistake. Folks, let me tell you. Don't make this mistake. I will never make it again. You know, again, this is why mistakes make you better. Identifying it and going, man, that was stupid. I'm never doing that again. And as soon as I got this computer set up, I directly changed my downloads, wherever I get any downloads or transfer things from files onto this laptop, I moved it to the other hard drive that's in here, because this has 2 hard drives in it. The other hard drive's fine. It was the hard drive, the downloads folder. The downloads folder is evil, man. It is such a place, and we all do it. We all just go, oh yeah, that just goes to the downloads folder. And you know what? Like a Microsoft OneDrive doesn't back up the downloads folder. It backs up every other folder. It backs up your desktop. It backs up your music folder. It backs up everything else except the fucking downloads folder. And if you're ever running out of space, check the downloads folder, because normally that's where all the crap is that you've downloaded. It is just, they may as well call it the junk folder. Yeah, they may as well call it the bloody junk folder. But yeah, And unfortunately, a lot of my assets, because I got lazy, I would download my assets onto OBS and I'd leave them in there and then, pull them into OBS from the downloads folder, where now I have an OBS assets folder. I'll never make that mistake again. So again, this mistakes make you better. There is a reason that I say it all the time. Whenever something cataclysmic happens like this, you can react and go crazy, but the better thing is to go, but you know what? It's my fault. I made that mistake. There's nobody else to blame. I made that mistake and I have to deal with it. And I did. Downloads are like the second drawer down everyone has in the kitchen. Yeah, exactly. You don't think about it, do you? It's just that it's just sitting there full of junk. And, backups are important. I honestly felt like such a fool that every single thing I have is so backed up, it's ridiculous. This thing's backed up more than me eating 2 jars of peanut butter and a pot of curry the night before. All right, I back up more than that. I'm backed up deep. But this laptop I wasn't. But here's the thing. Now, I didn't finish the full story. So when I did get home and I got the laptop back here and set it all up, turned it on, and then I logged into OneDrive, that's when the good news came, because OneDrive said, oh, by the way, you've got a backup of your desktop. And I was like, really? And I logged in and all my desktop apps came back. Everything. So I'll give you a quick glance. I can do that. Let me just close a bunch of things here. So yeah, let's go over to my desktop. There it is. Look, all these just came back. See all this? All of it just came back. And these were all my folders here. This is how to app on iOS. These are all my thumbnails for each season. So all my thumbnails for season 13. And we got like season 9 thumbnails here. So all my thumbnails just came back and the desktop just reloaded. So I was luckier than what I had thought. I thought I was in a lot deeper trouble. But again, it was the downloads folder that was the mess. But luckily, all the assets were on my iPad because that's where I make everything. I keep a cloned external hard drive unplugged on the shelf. Yes. And here's mine. You know what? And that potato sack, we'll call you that because I guess that's what you're doing with your numbers there. I do that with every other device, but I just hadn't done it with this. And I'll tell you why. I do know why. I do know why I didn't do it. This computer only has 4 USB hubs in it. And trust me, folks, I'm running cameras, desktop, a Mac, if I can load it. So there's if I can load my Mac over here, there's my Mac, right? So we have a lot going into one tiny little laptop over here. An iPad connected as well with split cameras, There's a lot going into this one little laptop over here. Plus, there's the Rodecaster going in there. There's some external hard drives. What else? There's a lot of shit going into this poor little computer. So I don't have the USB space to add another external, but I do have the space to plug it in once a month, like Potato Sack has said, and do a backup. So that's what I'll be doing going forward. And you know what? That was a mistake I made, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because it won't happen again. And again, it's the way you react. If you get pissed off about it, throw a tantrum. Again, I've got fucking hair everywhere today. I used to take it out of myself, trust me. And I've talked about this. I think I did a rant on anger before. You would not believe some of the things I've said to myself in anger. Calling myself a useless piece of shit and I hope I die. And it's really poisonous stuff. I used to be very, very poisonous to myself. And, I don't know where that came from. But again, I was able to finally identify that I was doing that, and I'm just being 100% honest about this stuff, yeah? Oh, really? Are you gangrene? Wow, I didn't know that was you. Well, there you go. Good to see you. I don't know how you get to a stage like that, but to identify it and confront it and go, how do I, why do I take it out of myself for stuff like this? And guys, I'm always honest about this stuff. I try and be as honest as I can on this channel. We've talked about so many things on this channel. And again, you may think it's woo woo or whatever, but we try and here talk about, even during, remember when the pandemic was on, we did the Wart series and we talked about anxiety and depression and all this stuff because people were going through so much. I've tried to not only do this show and cover apps and this stuff, but be so much deeper than that. So that's what these shows are about. And I always like to end positively. And, we got this thing. And there's my friend Liz a day. I saw your message, Liz. I just haven't had a chance to write you back. I was going to write you back today. And I'm glad. Here's our friend Liz. She's been in the US for a little bit. She's back home in Australia now. So she's back home. But, yeah, we got it up and running. We got everything good. Now, we've got a bit over 10 minutes left. So I feel like I need to explain to you all what's happened to the channel. So you may have noticed some things, right? See up in the top corner, up here it says the rant. And normally every show it just used to say how to app on iOS. And now over here it says Jade Starr Music. And you would have seen for a long time, this channel's just been called Jade Starr. Now, I never wanted to make this channel just called How to App on iOS because this channel's been so much more than iOS apps. Sure, it's a large percentage of content here on the channel, but there's always been a large percentage of diverse programming. That's what I want to do here. I want to do stuff like this. I want to be honest and talk about rants and have stuff to talk about. I want to have apps to review. I want to continue doing Walk With Me, where I walk around and film Melbourne and do all that kind of stuff. I love doing that. I want to continue doing the interviews. I've done over 150 interviews with artists, so many awesome interviews. So I want to keep doing that. I also want to keep doing, what else do we got? We've got the Patreon Live. That happens as well, Patreon Live. Plus we do, what else? The opening hour where I perform every weekend. So it made sense to finally give the channel a name because Jade Starr just felt weird. But now with music on the end, this is Jade Starr Music. And it all falls under one umbrella. And this is that umbrella. So underneath the umbrella now of Jade Starr Music is a whole selection of shows. How to App on iOS, Patreon Live if you're a Patreon, interviews, Walk With Me over in the top, opening hour, the rant. And there's a whole selection of different shows. So what you'll notice going forward with each of the different shows, up in that top corner up there, over here, will be the name of the specific show that this is. So if it's an app review, it's called How to App on iOS. If it's an interview, it'll say interview. If Walk With Me is a completely different thing. If it's the opening hour, it says opening hour. Each show has its own intro. So I just wanted to tidy things up and make it a little bit clearer on the direction I want to take this channel overall. Because next year, guys, I have a lot of big plans. As Walk With Me expands, later this year I'll be going over to up to Sydney and filming in Sydney to Adelaide. And then maybe towards the end of this year or early next year, we'll be heading to Thailand and taking Walk With Me overseas. And and there's another new show that we're looking at introducing under this umbrella as well called Proper Music. I'm just going to put it out there. Let's say it now. So let's make I love doing the announcements on the rant. In September, we'll be kicking off a brand new show here called Proper Music. Now, Proper Music will be awesome. I can't wait to do this with you all. Just to give you a quick rundown of what Proper Music will be about. We will have some guests on, regular guests. All of us are actually Virgos because, Virgos are pedantic, fucking self-righteous. And we're going to take a look at music throughout the decades. And we're going to talk about production and the way music has changed. And we're going to start at 1970. And each month we're going to do another year from music. And we're going to go from 1970 all the way to the year 2000. And within that show, we're going to have a selection of music that we're going to play. Whole songs. We're going to play these songs. And we're going to discuss why we like them, how they were produced, and see how music has changed and techniques people used, and get your input on. And I'll tell you what it's more about, more than anything, than just analyzing songs and coming across like assholes, just pulling apart music. It's about having fun and remembering some really great tunes that you may have never even heard from the 70s all the way through. That's more what it's about, to just enjoy some music that like a great Dr. Hook song or something like that you may have never heard. So proper as opposed to the bullshit we usually produce and talk about. Well, it's it's a bit of, it is a bit of a wink, like this is proper music that we grew up with. It's the proper stuff that was released and we grew up with. That's the play on words that we went with for it. But it should be really fun, and hopefully you guys will come and hang out with us. But it'll be interesting to see what 4 very different people pick for their tunes. And then we're going to ask you guys to guess who picked which song. So we'll have a poll. There'll be rounds where we'll play 4 songs back to back. We'll play the songs, we'll talk about them, and you guys can try and guess who picked which song and stuff like that. So it's just something a little bit different we have been talking about doing. I'm not telling you who's involved in it yet, but you can probably guess. So at the end of the day, I love listening to good music, and there's a lot of good things to take away from the music from the past. In fact, I've been listening to a lot of 70s music over the last couple of weeks. Fuck me. I think we lost our way a little bit with production. I saw Drew here as well too. There, Digital Drew. Hi, Drew. Sorry I missed saying hello to you. All right, so again, this comes back to positivity, yeah? Now, everything's working here. I'm really excited about what's coming up. We've got Songtember coming up. We've got Pete coming on the show this week. Russ coming on the show. We're taking a look at LumaFusion 5.0 tomorrow, and boy, am I excited, because finally I'm off the NDA. I can talk about LumaFusion 5. It's really damn good. The speed easing is really cool. I can't wait to show you that tomorrow. Gonna finish Adam Burse's song this week. I'm really pumped to be back. Super pumped. And we're going to have some new lighting in this studio as well too. So that's really, really cool. Look at this. Here's one of the new lights. I'll show you this shit. Look at this thing. I got some new lights. Pete, if you're still here, upgraded my lights. I've only got one of them at the moment. The other one should be here this maybe today or tomorrow. But so these are my new lights. Let's see. And how I turn them on, right? How cool is this? I turn them on with my Stream Deck. Whoa! These things are freaking bright. I didn't realize how fucking bright they are. So yeah, I'm replacing the lights that I have. Hi, Pookie. What's going on? I'm actually replacing the lights that I currently have because they take up a lot of room. If you don't know what softboxes are, they're pretty savage. Let me just bring this up here. Now, the thing is with these lights too, which is so odd, you can't control them. You have to use an app to control them. Look how bright these things go. This is on the minimum setting. That's the minimum setting. Look at this. Jesus fucking Christ. That's the size of an iPad. Look at that thing. So these are the replacement lights that are taking over within the next week. So that's at the lowest setting. And I can turn them off here. So basically, they're pretty crazy. Now, I, for the longest time, have been using these lights up here. I can show you. There they are. These things, see how much room these things take? They're giant, those things. So I can't wait to move them out of here. So, yeah. The thing was, one of the other things I was angry about this week, let me tell you, why I was happy that I didn't lose my shit was I'd spent so much money on these lights and everything over the last couple of weeks. And then the hard drive failed. It's always the way, isn't it? You know, when you go, "Oh, I'll just do this," and then something always crops up and comes out of the blue. But, you know, we'll talk about this with Russ. Russ comes on this week because, some of you were very kind when that happened. Oh, Pete, these things are mad. Yeah, they're really cool. So, all right. So I've got my rant off my chest. I feel really good. Back up your stuff. And you know what? Go easy on yourself if you make a mistake. It's all right. You know, most of the time it's going to be okay. We're going to get through it, and, you know, try and go easy on yourself. Try not to let people who come in and tell you, "Oh, you're a dickhead for doing that." Fuck off. Try not to listen to negativity in your own head and some of the idiots around you. Because the internet's a pretty toilet place sometimes, you know. There's a lot of negativity on the internet. Look at politics and stuff like that. Everything's so negative all the time. But you know what? When you leave the house, guess what? A lot of this shit doesn't happen. You don't run into people going, yep, Joe Biden, this shit. It doesn't happen. It's because we're all so brain broken sitting here on the internet. You know what I mean? I saw Hubs write something. Ham shows on returning this Saturday. There you go. For those who didn't hear. Let's not burn my retinas. I saw Hubs write something about lights. So Pete's got to get new lights. I can't find Hubs' comment. Been lurking and feeding your face. Look, this week it was crazy, but I'm petitioning a campus to upgrade some lighting. That's a good idea. Campus is closed. Okay, Pete's up next with YML, so I'll bounce you all over to Pete Johns. He's got YML coming up. Go and hang out. Go and support some proper music over there. And I'll be back tomorrow to take a look at LumaFusion. Barry and Joe Glenn, I hope you're pumped up for it because LumaFusion's fucking sick. All right. Thank you, folks. It's so good to be back. I missed you all. I missed doing this. I love doing this. Can I just say before I go, most of you guys know my story. I got hit with this terrible illness in like 2015, and doctors said, you're going to die and you're going to be all this shit. And I had given up completely. And I was homeless and all this shit went down and I'd given up. And then I found this and doing this. And I love doing this. I love this so much. I love it so much now. It's my job and it keeps the lights on. It pays my bills. It feeds me. So not only is it shit when I can't do it because it's my lifeline, but I miss you guys and I love doing this and I love trying to be positive and teach and all this stuff. So I'm very blessed to have this and I just love doing it every day. So it's really good to be back. And I hope you're all okay. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow for some more action on the new Jade Starr music channel. All right. Do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together. Stay awake. And you know what I'm going to say? Let's. Oh.